There
Evening, folks. Thanks for coming in. We hope everybody's safe and keeping well. Thanks for coming along to Paranormal Histories interview with Ghost Chaser Investigations. Sarah will be here in a wee second. She's just settling her ladyship, so she'll be with us in a wee minute or two. But we can carry on. We can carry on without her now. So thanks for coming along, guys. Or girls, I should say. Sorry. Evening, Nicole. If you just want to tell us a wee bit about, yourselves individually and what you do.
So we are paranormal investigators that are based in South Yorkshire. We basically like to prove that there's a life after death. We go to abandoned buildings, general like maybe abandoned graveyards or ones that have not been used for years and stuff like that, and see what kind of stuff we can get from there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So who else is in your team?
So in my team, I have myself, Chloe,
me,
Linda, Jess, and Sean.
So it's four. And do you all go out together at the same time, or?
Yeah, we do generally go out together. Sometimes we can go out just me and Linda, or sometimes I've done like lone vigils on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Do a lot of different stuff to see what different things we can get and stuff like that.
Hi Eddie, thanks for coming in. That's just Chaos here. He's Nicole and Chaos are friends of yours. So how long have you all been into paranormal? Not out with your team sort of thing. Is it something you've been interested in all your life, or?
I mean, for me personally, I've been into the paranormal, I'd say for a couple of years anyway, but the page has only been running for about a year. Obviously, I did actually start the paranormal by doing the Ouija board, and I just got intrigued, but it's different for other team members if they have been into it for years, so you won't say
yeah, I've liked it a lot, me. I used to watch programs on it, and that's what got me interested in it. So it's quite a lot, don't we now? And yeah, see what we can find.
But do you spend a lot of time, on what you do, as I know, out with investigations as well? Like on your channel, your Facebook page, does it take up a lot of your time, or?
Yeah, it definitely takes up a lot of our time, so we will go to investigations, do EVPs and stuff, but sometimes we go live straight away, or before we go live, we'll do little bits on ourselves and do EVPs and stuff, and then go live, and then after our live stream, we'll do bits and bobs there again, see if we get any different stuff, and then we spend a lot of time listening back to EVPs, looking at evidence we've got, and for places that we know things have definitely happened in, we'll look at newspaper articles and stuff like that. Say there's been a murder in a certain place. We'll do a lot of research, but we like to go to the place first before we do the research, see if we get the same activity, the same names coming through and everything that is actually in the research and the newspapers and stuff like
that. Eddie said he's having a bother with his volume. So how do you pick your locations? Is it just kind of random, or obviously? I mean,
we do sort of plan out where we're going, but what we actually do is we do look into a bit history of places that have been abandoned or where things have happened. Sometimes we'll just see something that looks really old and abandoned, and obviously go to those places, or we'll go to places where because to me, I always feel it, not necessarily because I'm not a medium, but when I go to a place, I can feel it eerie, if you understand what I'm saying.
I pick up the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
See, I'm not a medium. I can pick up on spirit and, look at photographs and stuff like that, and, not all the time, as you know, it doesn't. You're not guaranteed every single time you're going to pick up on something or you're going to see something. But I know what you mean about the atmosphere. We went to it's a cemetery in Edinburgh one night. Canongate Kirk it's called, and when we got there was just a really, really heavy, oppressive atmosphere about it. But we'd been before. I think we'd been there about 2 or 3 times before, and it'd been fine.
Yeah.
I'd done a walk round and what have you. But just this one particular, we were going up to Greyfriars straight after. It was just a really, really heavy atmosphere. And usually things like that, they don't bother me. They don't freak me out or anything. But this particular night, I was quite wary. I thought, I had a feeling if something bad was going to happen. And how we doing, Brett?
Yeah.
You get that kind of, I don't know, premonition, whatever, that something's going to happen tonight, and it's not going to be good. That's the kind of feeling we got. But after we left Canongate, it disappeared. The closer we got to Greyfriars, the feeling just went away. So I know what you mean. You say that you get this, you can pick up and whether it's a good feeling or a bad feeling. That particular night was just we lasted about 10 minutes, I think, and then we thought, no, we're call it a day here. We're going to get in the car and shoot up to Greyfriars. And obviously, there are things that your gadgets can't pick up. If you get a heavy feeling, your gadget can't pick up the way you feel. So that was going to be my next question. You've got all these gadgets, your K2 meters, your laser grids and etc. Would you use kind of favour out of a lot of them? Have you got a particular one that you like to use more than anything else?
Well, in my opinion, I've only just actually got this, it is a phone app. I have paid for it, and I've only just recently downloaded it, and it's called the Necrophonic, and I've really got into it because the words that actually come through on the device, obviously Spirit talking through it, the buildings we've been to, the words that are coming through are actually right, and the link back with research and things like that. So that is one of my favourites. But I also like before I did get Necrophonic, I really like the motion sensor cat balls.
We also use the Necrophonic quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
Have you had much response, using the cat balls?
We have actually had quite a bit of response from them. I mean, this were quite a while ago now, but we went to a bridge that someone had actually committed suicide from, and we was asking it to move the ball and things like that, and it just constantly were flashing on demand.
It says away again. I'm not really into gadgets. We've got bits and pieces, but we've done 2 investigations in here before. Once we get quite a good capture on the laser grid, and the second time we used the cat balls, and they were, flashing away in here. And ever since we've done a second investigation in here, our smoke alarm seems just to randomly go off at all different times for no reason. Have you ever had anything kind of follow you home after the investigation attached to you or anything?
Well, actually, I'm not sure if it has came from an investigation, but I think it was a week or so now. Nobody was in my household, but at this time I thought my mum was just coming home, and I heard someone physically walking upstairs with the footsteps. You can tell when someone's coming up, so I thought she'd come home. And then the next minute, the light switch goes on, in one of the bedrooms. I went and checked it out, and nobody were there. So obviously, I went, checked the whole house. I even let the dog outside, and I left the dog out in the pen for a while, and I just sat in the room, and I thought, if no one's here, it's got to be spirits. So I asked if there's actually any spirits here with me. There were a little bit of plastic at the side of me, and literally in front of my own eyes, it lifted up and turned over in front of my own eyes. I wish I could have had that on camera because that was a really good catch. But at that time, I didn't think I'd get a response.
That's what can happen, but a lot of these things, they always seem to happen off camera. I mean, I know, with Spirit, they don't do things on cue, and but you find a lot of times that things happen off camera, and you're wishing. We've been lucky enough that we got the cat balls and the one off the laser grid on camera, but we're probably the same as yourselves. We're seeing a lot of stuff on camera and off camera, sorry, and you think, I wish you got it. So after the bit of plastic move, did anything else happen? Did it?
Well, right when Jess was talking to somebody, she thought it was Dad, and it weren't.
Yeah. So Jess was actually in her house.
To explain that the passage is really long, so it did look like.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So do you want to just quickly explain?
She's a bit camera shy.
Yeah. So
Right.
basically, like, there's a really long hallway passage in her mum's house, and she was just walking to the toilet, and then the door right down the hallway is actually like another room, and she thought, which obviously there were a person actually stood outside the door, and which she thought it was a dad. She was stood talking to him for a while. Next minute, it turns out it wasn't actually him, and he was nowhere near that area.
I thought it was being a bit ignorant.
Yeah.
Didn't reply.
She
So I went to
she
the
thought
bedroom
it were
and he
being
was fast asleep.
yeah, she thought he was being ignorant because he didn't reply to her. Then she went to the bedroom and he was fast asleep on the bed.
So did that kind of freak her out a wee bit?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
But now you say there's 4 of yous in your team. Which one of yous is the most easily spooked?
Hey.
Jess.
You're the biggest chicken, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
very
is.
much.
Have you ever went to a location and just kind of ran out it and thought, I'm never going back there again? You ever been scared off an investigation?
Yeah, the shipping one.
Yeah, so basically, we did go investigating on New Year's Eve, and it like literally we went in an abandoned pub, and there's been known to be a lot of activity in there. People have done like devil worshipping and stuff like that. So there've been a lot of seances done in there, so it were really like full of activity and stuff. We went in there New Year's Eve, and that were a place we ran out of because
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a wow moment. I can't. Something like made a really loud bang. Honestly, like do you know like when someone falls off for a bed and you just hear that thump?
Mm-hmm.
That is what it was like, and we had to run.
And I take it he's never ever been back.
Nope.
No,
No. Would you ever even get back during the day?
Nope.
no.
I gave you that much of a fright. It was a big, a case that's a big no-no from now on.
Honestly, that is a no-no. It was just so frightening because obviously we had different, like more activity than that. But then when that actually happened, that were it. We were like, we can't come back in here.
Yeah. When the 4 of yous go out on an investigation together, do you ever pick up? You see a lot of these ghost shows in various teams, and maybe like for example, there's 4 in the group, and they've got an investigation, and everybody hears or thinks that they see the same thing, whether it be a shadow or something moving. Do you ever go out an investigation?
Yeah, we have actually had that. Yeah, I think when the Black Shadow.
Yeah.
So
we
we,
caught something, didn't we?
yeah, we have actually caught it, but we was at a really, really old graveyard, and we all actually seen this Black Shadow just appear in front of us. We all seen it at the exact same time, and we went back not actually that long ago, and we did manage to get a picture of it. We finally caught it on camera.
So, have you ever been out and picked up stuff? How could I put this? Individually at the same time, different things at the same time. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's lovely.
I don't think we've ever mentioned it.
No.
We might have, but we've never said it.
Yeah, we might have, but we've never actually like everything just reloaded then. We might have, but we've never actually like said it. I'm not sure. I can't remember. We've been to that many places. We possibly could have.
So, where's your kind of favourite location? Have you got one that you do over and over again, or you know, have you got a favourite kind of place you like to go?
Yeah.
Definitely that graveyard. There's certain graveyards.
To us, there's the graveyard where we actually caught the Black Shadow. That is one that we would return to over and over because the amount of activity you can actually get from there, and there's we've caught loads. Not even just the Black Shadow, like we've caught a lot of things. Yeah, we've caught we've actually got it on camera as well. A picture of we were just taking some photos at this point, and there was like a man holding a gun over the top of the grave, and on this grave, I'm sure it was some kind of war veteran. It were a war veteran's grave. We do have that on photo because Sean took it. So it is crazy what we've actually caught from there.
Just so you say a graveyard, a lot of groups tend to go to like graveyards constantly. Why do you think that is? Why do you think graveyards attract more ghost hunting teams and kind of like, you know, well, they'll get castles and old ruins, but graveyards seem to be a kind of big attraction. Why do you think that is?
Me personally, I feel like that because maybe I feel like there's going to be more activity there because of the amount of spirits, obviously bodies that have been buried there. But then again, graveyards graveyards don't just attract me. Like, to me, I feel like, especially abandoned buildings where you know that there's something heavy, like a really heavy spirit and a presence there, they really attract me. But to me, I just feel like graveyards are like most attractive for maybe other teams, and obviously the one we go to, because obviously we caught the Black Shadow and there's a lot of bodies buried there, so we're going to pick different stuff up all of the time.
A question that I've been asked quite a few times concerning spirits, and that people always say, why do you think we have spirits? You know, why are spirits still here, basically? I know there's a lot of different theories.
I think because they haven't passed on.
Yeah.
There's something keeping them here.
Yeah, there was something that was keeping them here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the unfinished business kind of thing, or you don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, like there could be loads of different reasons, you know, to us why, but we just think it's because they haven't
There was trouble when they died, like they didn't get
Yeah.
something off the chest.
Yeah, that's
they might not have got anything off of the chest what they needed to before they died.
mm-hmm.
Like it's as though they've got something else to say, you know.
They're not finished. They're trying to get a message across, or they're even just trying to tell, you know, it's family, loved ones, friends that they're okay. Basically, you know, they're still here, but you know, in another form. Now, you mentioned the Ouija board. Can you tell us a wee bit about, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of the Ouija board. I've never been in, you know, it's nothing disrespectful to it or anybody that uses it. It's just not my kind of thing. But you says you use it. Can you tell us what, you know, what your experiences with the Ouija board?
Like, we've asked personal questions that only yourself would know.
Yeah.
Like one person would know to see if like the answer would be correct, and it always has been, hasn't it?
Yeah, it always has been.
A lot of people think that it's dangerous to use a Ouija board, you know, because you don't know what you're kind of inviting in. What do you think about that theory, that idea?
I mean, actually, it could possibly be dangerous. Like, you have got to be, like, I've always been told you've got to be careful and you can't let the board go from, I think it's A to Z, because obviously that is letting spirit in, so we're always really wary of that. But normally to us, it's people that want to get in contact with us to tell for messages for family, friends, people that we know and stuff like that. And we always ask, like Jess said, we ask questions to the person that only us know, and the person that knows the answer doesn't go on the board and the rest do, so we know that all answers are true.
So, I mean, you get a lot of teenagers, that watch kind of horror films on a Friday, Saturday night, have a couple of beers and decide to, pick up a Ouija board and go and find a Ouija board to, they're going to try it out because they saw the film. But what would you say people like this, thinking about, trying out the Ouija board for the first time?
I mean,
never do it under the influence.
No, never do it under the influence of alcohol. And personally, I would probably say maybe if they're thinking about doing it for the first time, maybe contact a medium. Do it with someone that's professional and knows what they're doing and what knows about the board and stuff like that.
There's Brett for Paranormal Use Papa. Comment was coming up. Ouija board is no more dangerous than a spirit box.
Oh yeah, I can see that comment there. Yeah.
Do you think there's too many silly myths surrounding the Ouija board?
I mean, there possibly could be, but you can never be too careful. Obviously, there's what I do think there is a lot of myths, but the board actually generally got put out as a children's game. You see, so some of the myths and stuff that I've actually been told, I don't believe in some of them, but you can never be too careful.
No, I don't use them. It's just something it's not that I'm against them. I'm not really against them. It's just something that's never. I think maybe I've seen too many horror movies when I was younger, and that kind of put me off.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that I'm a chicken or anything, but I think why, why take the chance basically. About paranormal scene, I've used the Ouija board for over 30 years, and not once got a demon on it.
Yeah.
Brett, he's a friend who, as is everybody else. He's actually quite a knowledgeable kind of guy at times. We'll say that at times, probably. So as Brett says with demons there, do you find a lot of these? You see a lot of these ghost shows. I don't know what ghost shows you watch. I watched 2 or 3 of them, and everything's always demonic. When we.
Yeah. I mean, I have noticed that a few people do different paranormal pages, groups, even on TV. A lot of it's demonic, but honestly, truthfully, I don't personally feel that everything's demonic. Like, you get a lot of just general spirits that maybe, like I said earlier, haven't got what they needed to get off the chest, that just want to communicate with you, like you said, maybe to tell a family the message that they've got and stuff like that.
So do you think maybe the demonic bit on these these shows, I've seen people on YouTube doing it as well, it's really just for effect, to add a bit of drama to it?
Honestly, I don't really know. I don't know.
I've watched I've watched quite a few of them. So what's your interpretation of a spirit? This is something that I think there's a lot of people have different kind of views on what a spirit is. What's your kind of interpretation?
So to me, as I think, because I've never actually, the only what I think spirit I've actually witnessed is in the graveyard of the Black Shadow. So to me, I've only seen that. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna see spirit, dressed in, say, old Victorian clothing or anything like that. I've only seen spirit as a black shadow, so I couldn't tell you what I might think of it in the future. But to me, at the moment, I think spirit could just be a shadow.
In all fairness, though, the one
but
I've seen at the door yeah, it were dark down there, but I thought it was my dad because my dad dresses in dark clothes and that
Yeah.
was black.
Yeah, so this,
You know, like
if you
it
just
was,
heard
it
Jess,
was black. So
the spirit that she saw actually wasn't just like all black. It did have black clothing and stuff like that on, which she thought it was a dad because he does wear dark
he
clothing,
wears black jeans,
black jeans and a black jacket.
Mm-hmm.
just looked like him.
So she thought it was her dad. So you usually when I am about a year, 12 months roughly. If there was any other, any sort of newcomer starting out in the sort of I say ghost hunting business, YouTube and what have you, what kind of advice would you kind of give to them?
Do you know
Do you have
what?
any-
My advice to them really would just to be very open-minded, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there could be anything that they could see, anything they could pick up, I'd just tell them to be open-minded and just, go for it and see what they can actually capture.
If they don't like it, then it's clearly not for them.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. All you can do is try and see what happens, basically. But it's always good to get. I usually ask that question because you get different. I think this is how you learn a lot. I mean, people say you need to study the paranormal, you need to read books and document. I've done all that, but I found that the easiest way of learning about the paranormal is just simply by talking to people.
Yeah, definitely, because you can get different perspectives on things and see what their view of the paranormal is and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I used to go to spiritual church quite often every Sunday in Glasgow, and before it, you could go in an hour before it and just sit down, have a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and the medium would come out and just chat. And the amount of stuff that I picked up, just with talking to people was absolutely amazing. Brett saying Ouija is the French and German words for yes, so basically it's now known as the yes board. We'll open a portal. Everyone has their own. Too many stories about the Ouija board and spirit box will open the portal. Everyone has their own opinion, having experience in the field and knowing a few who have had the experience. You see, there is a lot of stories. I've heard a lot of stories about the Ouija board, some good, some bad, some that they might smash the glass after you use it. Numerous stories. But I think the Ouija board is something that people are always going to use. They're always going to be curious about it.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are going to have their own opinions as well and different perspectives and views on the board. I feel like it's always going to be like that,
Mm-hmm. It's always going to be a 50-50 balance, basically.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe, like Hollywood films and what have you got a lot to do with that?
Pardon?
Do you think maybe the media, like films and documentaries and stuff, have got a lot to do with how people perceive the Ouija board?
Yeah, definitely. Because obviously, there's actually a film called the Ouija board. Well, Ouija, sorry. There's quite a few different films, and people will obviously watch them, see what's happened on those, and maybe obviously some people could think it's true. That's stories based on true stories and stuff like that. So.
Is the film The Ouija, is that the one that the girl hangs herself in a house right near the start of it?
I don't know. I just know there's 3 girls.
I remember watching a film about a Ouija board, and it was a girl hung herself just about 5-10 minutes into the start. I thought that was the film you were talking about.
There's quite a few different ones out. So yeah.
I thought one was sleeping. I thought she fell asleep. So if somebody came up tomorrow, I always ask this question, by the way. If somebody came up to you tomorrow with a plane ticket and says, go and explore anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Personally, for me, I think I would go to. I think I'd say probably America.
Yeah, it's quite familiar, isn't it?
Because there's quite a lot of things, places there. I mean, I'd actually like to go to the places where, do you know, like films of like The Conjuring, Annabelle are actually filmed. I would generally like to see what's actually in those places. I know that the films are obviously not real, but I'd just like to go myself and, you know, witness what it is like and what's on the film.
We done a live on Amityville, whether it was true or fake. Obviously the feel side of it, you know, that's true. What about the other side of the Lutz family? Would you think that was real, or do you think it was kind of faked? Just we were talking about Amityville there.
Pardon?
The Amityville horror, you were saying, you know, you like to go to America and see places like The Conjuring and Amityville.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on Amityville? Do you think obviously the DeFeo story is, you know, true, but there was a lot of debate about the Lutz family who moved into the house after it.
I mean, it possibly could be based on true stories. That is why me personally, I'm quite intrigued with it. Is some people say they're based on true stories, some people say it's not real and stuff like that, as everyone has their own different opinions, and that's why I'm intrigued, and that's why I feel like I would probably want to go to the same places where they're actually filmed. And obviously if I had the chance, I would love to actually investigate with the real Annabelle doll, because I'd like to know, you know, is everything on the films based on true stories, or, you know, is it not real? That's what thought I'll always have in my mind.
Well, what about your teammates here? Where would they like to go?
Where would you guys like to go?
I think I'd be like you, probably. See if things are real.
I don't know. I'm quite open-minded where to go.
Yeah, Jess says she's quite open-minded because there's a lot of places.
Well, that's true. There's
I think my ultimate location would be the Winchester house.
Yeah.
the Winchester man.
Yeah. Manchester Mansion, did you say?
The Winchester.
Winchester.
Oh, sorry.
Do
Yeah.
you see East Drive there as well?
Yeah, we've been East Drive, haven't we?
Yeah, Linda actually broke a leg. She got pushed down the stairs and broke a leg that night. That was actually, yeah, that was all on camera footage as well. She like passed out. She couldn't remember her thing. She couldn't even remember falling down the stairs.
Right, no, that's interesting.
On the live video, you fell.
Pardon?
Brett, see above paranormal. He's called Brett. He's quite knowledgeable about East Drive. So what happened?
Yeah.
What happened in East Drive to yourselves?
Well, I was coming downstairs and next thing I was on the floor and I don't know how we got
On
there.
that video, though, when they growl behind that.
Yeah.
It looked like somebody running.
Yeah, and then you hear somebody behind you, don't you?
Yeah.
Running down
Yeah.
the stairs. But there was no one, like there was none of,
Like, there was nobody there. wasn't
yeah,
there?
no one
Like,
there
was
to
at the
run
top.
down the stairs behind you. And one of the things I kind of experienced, and it happened like quite a lot while I was actually in East Drive, and I think we did actually get this bit on camera as we set a camera up in one of the rooms. So every room we went in, because we all stick together, I went with Phil Sinclair, if you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
The curtains actually fell down in every room. Every room we had to keep putting the curtains back up because they kept falling down. It was just so strange.
Phil Sinclair, he does he does a radio show, is that right? He's on the radio as well.
No.
Am I thinking the same guy?
No.
I'm not sure. I know he's on the Travel Channel, but I don't have a clue if he's on the radio. I don't know. It could be.
Bear with me. No, that name rings a bell. That name, I thought it was. Phil Sinclair's Paranormal Investigations.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's one I knew it rang a bell. You hear that many different names and groups and teams, and you know, and sometimes you'll. Phil's an investigator near me, Scott. Right. I knew I'd heard the name before. As I say, you hear that many different names.
Yeah,
And,
that's correct.
And then you know you'll forget them, and then somebody will mention it again, and you think, wait a minute, I've heard that name before, and it takes a wee minute or two to connect. So he did East Drive with you as well.
Yeah.
And what did he think of the place?
I mean, I don't really know. It were a while ago now when we went. Honestly, like, I think he knew there were obviously definitely something in there.
I'm asking so much about East Drive because, you know, there's been a lot of stories on it over the years. A film was done on it as well, and there's been a lot of controversy. Some people say that it's more like a money maker now than anything else, because I think he's occupied, you know, he's used maybe 5 to 7 times a week with various teams going in and out. And so whenever I hear somebody's been to East Drive, I've never been. I'd like to go myself just to, you know, have a look about and see what it's like. But I've heard that many conflicting stories about the place, you know, over the past couple of years. So whenever the name East Drive comes up, my ears always kind of perk up. I thought, oh, you've been to East Drive, so, and I like to try and, you know, find, because I know above Paranormal, he's got a different perspective on East Drive as to what yourselves have. So that's how I like to try and drag out as much info from people as I can whenever I hear about East Drive. So what's your opinion on mediumship? I don't care changing the subject a wee bit, but
my opinion on mediumship, I mean, I don't actually have an opinion. I'm just quite open-minded with it. I am quite interested in mediums and like how they become one and things like that. But me personally, because I'm not a medium, or like none of our team members are mediums, I can't really like comment on that. I don't have an opinion of them, if you get what I mean.
So what about, you know, I'm talking about these like, you know, these platform mediums you get, and then the mediums on these ghost shows kind of thing.
I don't know. I think some of them are staged.
Yeah, definitely. We do think some of them are staged, especially like on the ghost shows on TV and stuff like that.
Definitely.
And also, do you think they go? I mean, obviously, in my opinion, they're a bad thing, you know, because they give the whole paranormal world community a really kind of bad name.
Yeah.
Do you think the media does more damage or more good to the paranormal community?
I think it's like more damage because people are not going to go and experience it for themselves then.
Yeah.
They're just seeing the bad stuff, so they don't actually see.
Yeah, they don't see.
Intriguing it is, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, if someone, you know, if someone you knew came to you and says, you know, I think have you ever been asked? I think you've done a couple of houses. Have you not? I mind watching one YouTube video. You were in a house and you'd stuff in the floor. So I've watched that much YouTube stuff. You tend to forget who's who and what have you. Have you ever been asked to do like private investigations?
Yeah, we have done a couple of private investigations, but like I always say, before we do private house investigations, they need a medium, and obviously the ladies whose house we did, she contacted her own medium to come while we investigated. It was quite a sad story to the house.
Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. Yeah, just jump back to East Drive. Brett doesn't believe the place is haunted. Hi, Mama Kitten. Thanks for coming in. Sorry, carry on. It's just I saw that comment there. So it was quite a bad series. Start again. Serious case in the house.
Yeah, it was quite a bad, serious case. She got her own medium in, and then the medium helped her. And as far as we're aware, the spirit isn't there anymore.
What do you think of these teams that charge for investigations?
What the team that charged for investigations?
I've read some stories. There was one story in particular. It was a woman who thought there was something in her house, and she paid this team. It was something like £200-300 to go in, and they said, "We can help you. We'll clean the house," basically. And it turned out they were just con merchants. Basically, there was never anything in the house. Another team came in after them, and it was maybe something to do with the piping or something. They showed the women what it was happening. It was something to do with the actual building itself. And it says your house isn't haunted. It's to do with your walls or whatever the case was. But I know you got a lot of teams out there. Do you think it's right or wrong to charge people?
I mean, I don't necessarily like. I don't know. I don't really.
We don't
Yeah.
charge, no.
We don't charge to do house investigations. All of our live streams are free. So I mean, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. I just let them, get on with what they're doing because, we do our thing. Other teams do their thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, her opinion, basically, I've said it all along. To me, it's wrong to charge for these kind of things. Part of the paranormal is also helping people where you can, whether it's advice, an investigation, something like that. So to me, it's totally kind of wrong to charge them for it. So, but I always like to give people perspectives on that. I'm just going to check the comments, see if anybody's got any questions for the comments.
Don't think so, Scott. I've been kind of keeping an eye on them.
Paranormal says she likes you. You're quite open. He likes you. Sorry, Brett. He likes you. You're quite open-minded.
Oh, thank you.
I think you need to be, but you get some teams that they go on investigation and they're all totally convinced that everything is paranormal.
Yeah.
You might hear a bird chirping in a tree or something.
I like to be quite open-minded. I do try and debunk things as well. And think. Say we had heard footsteps on an EVP. I like to try and debunk that first and make sure none of us were moving at that point. None of us were walking anywhere. Make sure we're all stood still and there's literally no movement and stuff like that. Because, I mean, you've got to always be aware of what things could be before saying that it's actually paranormal.
I don't think any team is qualified to remove anything from anywhere. All right, Brett's talking about the investigation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if he's talking about the private house, and like I say, that was the lady's own medium. She got her in. So at this point, we kind of went in blindfolded. We didn't have a clue who this medium was or anything like that. We've never met her. Obviously, the lady knew her and she said she's a really good medium, and she was like, she wanted her to be there and to get whatever was in her house out, but she wanted us to investigate first to see what was there and why it was there and stuff like that. But obviously, as far as we're aware, like I say, we believe that it's gone because that's what she's told us. But that is quite it's possibly true.
Okay.
But we don't talk about on our channel at all, but obviously the current situation. How is that affecting you with your investigations and getting out and about? Is that having any big effect on yourselves?
With the coronavirus, did you say? Sorry, it keeps like cutting you out sometimes when you speak.
I know, as I say, we don't mention what's going on this channel. You know, I just refer to it as the current situation. Is it having a big impact where you are and you getting out for investigations and stuff?
It is a little, because like, I mean, I used to like live streaming every night, and obviously
You're like a zone support bubble, aren't you?
Yeah,
We're in a
zone bubble.
but then again, we are in our own bubble. We're in our own support bubble, so like we can see each other and stuff like that, so we can go investigating. But obviously we've got to be very cautious, because we've got to make sure like we're not going in a building that maybe say anyone else has been affected, and we don't want to, you know, catch the bug or anything like that.
So, see all your friends and family, what do they make of what you do? Do any of them call you? I know a lot of people call, you know, nuts and stuff. You know, they think we're all kind of, you know, crazy. What do your friends and family think of you do? Do you get the kind of crazy label?
No, actually they all are quite interested, and you know, sometimes they'll join in and like just, you know, they actually get interested in it. Obviously we've told them and we've shown them our captures and things like that, and then that's when they get interested in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we sometimes get caught, but we live in Scotland, so the weather up here is absolutely crap, like 90% of the year anyway. And some folk says, you know, you're going to a graveyard and you're sitting there, you know, in the rain or whatever for 2 or 3 years. You must be absolutely nuts looking for ghosts, basically.
Yeah.
So they don't really call you nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this isn't nothing to do with friends and family, but like, we have had the police turn up at an investigation and laugh at us because we're ghost hunters. But you know, that's just it, that they probably didn't believe.
But did somebody phone them, or did they spot you? Or?
We don't know. They just literally turned up and they were like, thought we were weirdos. And that's all I can say.
We've never actually encountered the police when we've done a lot in Edinburgh. We love Edinburgh. I think because Edinburgh's a kind of city, it's just loaded with history. You know, going back hundreds of years. And we've been all over Edinburgh, and we've never actually ran into any trouble as yet. You know, I dare say that maybe sometime in the future. Have you ever had any trouble in your investigations? You know, like, you know, we call them Neds up here. I know you louts or whatever you call them down there. You know, we drink or anything with kids or whoever.
I mean, we have been to places before that we wanted to investigate, but then there's been youths in there, kids in there, so we've had to, you know, change location at last minute and stuff like that, because we don't want them interfering with what we do and stuff.
Right. Because I know we get a lot of, it seems to be quite a common place for young ones to sort of drink these days, and homeless people to go to sleep in as graveyards. Do you get that down there? I know Greyfriars in Edinburgh here is quite a popular place for the homeless and for, you know, drinking drugs and stuff.
I mean, we don't really see much of it around here. It just depends where we travel, because we travel like to lots of different places and stuff like that. I suppose it just depends on where you are, really.
Well, what about places like Pendle Hill and what have you? Would you like to sort of do their locations?
I've never actually been to Pendle Hill, so I mean, I would definitely like to try it out and see what it's like there, but I've never been, so I wouldn't know if anyone would be there or anything like that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say that Pendle Hill isn't haunted. You know, I mean, obviously it's famous for the witch trials and what have you, but a lot of people say it's not haunted or anything. What's your kind of take on Pendle Hill?
I mean, truthfully, because I haven't investigated it, I wouldn't know. I'd need to go there for myself and investigate it myself so I could see what I get from there. Maybe it could turn out I get absolutely nothing at all paranormal. But then again, I could get something paranormal, so I wouldn't know until I've been there and done it myself.
You get a lot of play. Have you ever been to a place there's been a lot of stories about, a lot of hype about, and you go there and it's absolutely flat, basically?
I mean, we've been to like murder mansions, death houses and stuff like that. I mean, people make out they're really good, but we haven't had as much activity as other people. But then again, that could just be us. You never know.
Right, Scott, I'm so sorry, but we'll need to cut this short and put her to bed because she's doing my nothing.
Seriously?
Aye, she's dead restless.
Right. Sorry about this, but if this has happened before. Usually she's sleeping and what have you, but because the schools are off this week, we thought we'd let her up just, and it should be well, and it's turned out to be a big kind of mistake. So we can get you back on again if that's all right.
Yeah.
Just throw you. I say, we don't usually get any bother. She's usually quite good and out for the count by now, but because the schools have been off, she's not in the morning and what have you. So I do apologise for that, ladies. It's been nice chatting to you anyway, and I'll drop you a wee mail and we'll get you back on again soon as.
Oh yeah, that'll be brilliant.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Right, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
care.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Sorry about this, folks. Our ladyship seems to be playing up tonight, so we're going to have to cut it short. But we do hope you enjoyed Ghost Chasers being in. We will get them back on again very soon. We're back in tomorrow night again, 9 o'clock, and this time our ladyship there will be sleeping. So thanks for coming in, folks, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Thank you. Bye. Bye.